Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. And we are coming directly live after a loss by the New York Jets to the Minnesota Vikings. 22-27, the New York Jets take a loss, but it was a valiant effort by this football team. This Jets team has nothing to be embarrassed about with this loss. They fought extremely hard. Mike White looked extremely good. We'll get to that in a second, but they just fell short. They just fell short today. All right. Now, listen. Let me go ahead and start the show. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Your boy's also on Twitter as well, at YoungJ000, at YoungJ000. All right, is my personal page, at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe is the show's page. Please follow both of those. Talk to me, I'll talk back. All right, your boy's also on YouTube as well. Salutes to all the savages. We're all live here, live broadcasting the radio show directly after a live game reaction. Come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right, and subscribe, hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. That's where we live stream the radio show. You know what I'm saying? They tell your boy he's handsome. So come on by, watch and listen, and then call in. You know what I'm saying? So we're having a lot of fun doing that. Now we're going to get to the lines in just a second. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. The lines are hot. We'll get to everybody. The New York Jets fought tough, man. Fought very tough, especially in the first half. They were plagued with a lot of issues, particularly penalties. These referees were calling every single possible thing they could on the New York Jets. There was a lot of pass interference, mainly coming from Justin Jefferson. Sauce got called for one. I think Reed got called. Some offside calls on us as well. There was a lot of penalties that held the New York Jets back, but they continued to fight and push. The Vikings drive, one of their touchdowns was completely assisted by the referees, just constantly giving them calls, which actually put them up 10-3 at one point. The Jets kept pushing. They did not stop fighting. Before the half, they were able to get a big field goal, a 60-yard field goal from Greg Zuerlein, which made the game 6-20. That gave the Jets a bit of momentum going into the half. They came out. The defense made adjustments. They were able to get a stop. They were able to get another field goal, which put us at 9, made the game 9-20. 9-20. The Jets just kept kicking field goals. They couldn't get themselves into the end zone is what I think was the biggest issue as well. Zuerlein hit a couple other field goals, which actually made the game 15-20 at one point. The Jets were there. But then the Jets were able to score. Mike White was able to lead a drive, get things rolling. Mike White was able to handle business and get into the end zone himself after a tough drive, got pushed in by the rest of the guys, which then made the game 22-27. 22-27. The Jets defense was able to go out and get some more stops as well. Actually got a punt. Now, let me tell you something. This Jets defense was phenomenal today. They played well. They had some spots where they gave up some stuff, but they played solidly. Quentin Williams balled, 5 tackles, 4 solo, also had a sack. Carl Lawson played well as well, 3 tackles, 2 solo. He also had a sack too. Quincy Williams was out there putting on big hits. This defense played solidly, man. But with 22-27, the Jets tried to get a drive going. It started with Bam Knight getting a big-time run down the football field, which put them in a great situation, Then we also saw Garrett Wilson make some catches as well. Mike White was pitching the ball around all day. Again, it was a tough game. It was a loss, but Mike White showed today that he can really play this game here. It's going to be tough to see him not be the Jets quarterback in this next upcoming game if that's the choice that they make. He was 31 of 57 today, had 369 yards and had 2 interceptions. One of them was popped up. That wasn't his fault. The other one, though, again, and we'll speak about that, was at the end of the game. But he also rushed for a touchdown, too. Mike White showed us today that he can really handle business. With the game on the line, had a couple minutes left. Jets are down. We're trying to get a score. Mike White's looking for guys. He was able to hit Garrett Wilson for a deep pass. That went for 18 yards. They were trying to set themselves up for a score. Mike White started running around trying to find guys, and he couldn't. He tried to hit Corey Davis in the end zone, and it was called for an interception. Mike White played extremely well today. But the drive before the interception, when we actually had the turnover on downs, that was a drive where I really felt like we should have gotten to the end zone. Another big thing today was play calling. I believe that the New York Jets' tempo could have been a lot better. We kind of sleptwalked as far as play calling in the first half. It was very kind of conservative, lethargic. And I thought if we would have turned up the heat a bit earlier, the Jets would have had more of a better chance in this game. The Jets actually got the ball down to the 1-yard line, the drive before the last interception by Mike White, but they just couldn't punch it in. They couldn't. Mike White actually threw a short incomplete. Barrios in the end zone. Barrios dropped it. He dropped it. This was a tough loss for the Jets because they played valiantly. They fought hard. All the obstacles in their way, they did not stop. They did not give up. This team fought to the wall today. They just couldn't come up with the win. So we're going to get to the lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Again, be patient. We'll get to everybody today to talk about this loss by the New York Jets. The Vikings. Jets lose 22-27. We're getting to the lines. First call I'm going to is my guy, Ted. Ted, I'm coming directly to you. Ted, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know, that man, Ted, oh, he's a savage, man. He's a straight savage. Ted, Jets lose today to the Vikings, 22-27, man. What are your thoughts about the Jets offense today and the performance of Mike White?
Joe, that was a tough one because you can't win kicking field goals. We held them down to 3 points in the second half. It was 17-3. Mm-hmm. They only scored 3 points. One of the biggest things was the 4th and 10 that he threw.
Yeah.
Was it to Corey Davis or was that to, I forgot who was that? That was to.
I believe that was Corey Davis. When he hit him on 4th and 10. Yep, it was Corey Davis.
Yes. So the play before, Mike White was blitzed and he was hurt. And you could see him pick himself off the turf. And that was like almost like the legend is born situation because he came back and threw that. Joey played great. What you said about the questionable play calling, we had the ball at the 2-yard line. We tried to throw a pass to Garrett Wilson. He wasn't there. And then the throw to Barrios. And it might have been tipped, but it was dropped. We probably should have ran the ball twice in a row, Joe. We should have went up there and quarterback sneaked it twice and had taken our chances because we made it the first time. He sneaked it, even though it took a review to do it. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Yeah, no, listen, and that was one of the things that we talked about as well. Again, we're on the 1-yard line, and everybody's like, hey, let's try a quarterback sneak. Let's run the football. I even talked about it. I said, look, get all our fat boys up. Get these guys on the line. Let's get in the goal line. And let's go. Let's run the football down their throat and make it happen. And it didn't happen. And that leads me to my next question for you. Do you feel like Mike LaFleur was far too conservative in this game? Do you think he waited too long to really start to attack this Vikings defense, which by statistically is weak?
They are statistically weak. They were conservative in the first half. They didn't look very good, but we couldn't run the ball either. I guess you have to let Mike White kind of, let him do his thing, let him throw the ball a lot. But we got it going in the second half. The defense held up. They fought, Joe. That was a fight to the end, and I got to say the effort was there. But 57 pass attempts in a game, that's a little high for anybody. Even, Brady.
I mean,
I've seen Brady throw 60-something times. Mm-hmm.
I understand it's high, but you got to keep in mind as well the New York Jets running game was struggling. Outside of that 48-yard, bust for Knight, it was tough for the Jets running game. I think at one point, and we were talking about when our offense, we had like 30 yards rushing. It was crazy. Yep. So my final question, man, for you is when you talked about our defense, what were your thoughts about the play of Quinnen Williams today? I mean, isn't this guy just a warrior?
He's a warrior. I mean, Reed got hurt. Quinnen got hurt. They're ballers. I mean, Joe, we should have won the game. We played well enough to win this game. It's not a big blow because the Vikings are good, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but you can't. The defense held them to 3 points in the second half. I mean, that's all there is to it. But the field goals were killers. The field goals, constantly kicking field goal. Can't do it, especially against that team. But the defense held them down the whole second half, Joe. They play amazing.
Yeah, played
amazing.
Well. So before I let you go, Ted, because the lines are hot and again, we'll get to everybody. 515-602-9639. My final question, quickly. Is Mike White your quarterback going forward into this next game?
1,000%.
Okay.
If he's healthy.
All right.
1,000%. Yeah. Have a good one, Joe. I know you got a lot of calls. The only thing I fear is the Lion game right now. If we can beat the Jaguars, the Lion game will be tough. But we're okay. We'll do all right.
Okay. All right. Listen, thank you so much for calling in, Ted. I got to let you go. I got to slide off. You have a good one.
All right, Joe.
All right. We're going to keep.
See ya.
All right. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Jake. I know Jake has some takes. Salutes to you, Jake. We were really looking to get to speak to you in the, before the game we had a show. Now you're coming on. Listen, Jake, Mike White today I thought was phenomenal, even in this New York Jets loss. What were your thoughts about his performance? 31 of 57 today, 369 yards, 2 interceptions. He also ran for a touchdown as well. What were you feeling about Mike White, man?
Joe, first, hope everything's well. Sorry about this week. I had to take care of something during that, so just to clarify. But
no, it's all good.
Look, I'm going to just be very clear to everybody on this call. This was a full team loss today. There's no one person lost this game. I'm seeing people saying, look, Zach made – anyone who's telling me at this point that they think Zach Wilson was going to make the difference, just please don't ever talk to me ever again, okay? This is a game today that clearly was about it was a seesaw game. You're talking about watching an offense that couldn't do anything in the first half and the defense couldn't do anything. Then in the second half, the defense picked it up. Then the offense went up. Then it was just too up and down. And, look, I have my opinions about I think the officiating was beyond horrendous in this game. It was an absolutely horrendous officiated game. Like, I can't even get started. I thought that was grounding. I thought Denzel Mims and the pass interference. I was just, ready to, throw, a window, a rock against the wall. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me with this. So today was a valiant effort at the end. I'm shocked. Look, they had every chance to win this game. They have no one to blame but themselves for this. But in my opinion, if this says to me that Mike White's I would 100% still play Mike White next week. And I think if they beat Buffalo, we'll forget this loss. We're going to get over this loss fairly fast if we win next week.
Yeah. Listen, like you said, I even talking about those refs, that some of those calls were egregious. Especially, again, that call against Whitehead for unnecessary roughness I thought was ridiculous. I mean, he led with his shoulder. He hit the guy. This is football. You try to call him for a helmet-to-helmet, and that wasn't even what happened. The bad spot with T.J. Hockenson, then giving him a first down, and it was ridiculous out there. But one thing, and you talked about these kind of seesaw as far as our offense, not performing well in the first, but really stepping up in the second, I thought a lot of it was play calling and tempo. What were your thoughts about Mike LaFleur's performance today as well? Were you shocked that he didn't become more aggressive earlier against this Vikings defense offensively?
Because he thought he could replicate what he did last week with the Bears, the check downs, and we finally realized that's not working and realizing, hey, we're going against a pretty bad secondary. Why don't we throw the ball? So I don't know why it took them to the second half to do that. And also, please, that Garrett Wilson, he did that against Buffalo, almost fumbled. Please throw that play out burn it. Just please burn that play. Don't ever do it again. It is just a wasted call, wasted play. That was driving me insane with LaFleur in that. I don't really have a problem with him. I still think he's a good offensive coordinator. I do. I think he's proven to me he can still do the job, but he's got to stop getting cute. Everything was going great. They're driving down the field, and they want to do these trick plays. Just stick to the plan. He's trying too much to be like Shanahan. And look, Shanahan's got a problem because I don't know if you guys realize Jimmy Garoppolo could be out for the season. He just got carted off the field. So imagine not having your quarterback on the field. So it's just the Niners, they need to just stick to the ball. Also, C.J. Uzomah caught the ball today. Where was Tyler Conklin? Where was Orphis? I am still not seeing enough from the tight end. That's the one thing with this passing game we need to start utilizing more. We have to.
Yeah. I was really shocked again when we were talking about that drive when it was 22-27. We had a chance to take the game and get a big score. We're on the Vikings 1-yard line, and we're running all these weird plays. And we're not just lining up goal line and absolutely running down their throats or running QB sneaks. I was surprised that we weren't doing that. I don't know what that play call was to Garrett Wilson where he was trying to get him outside to the right. I don't know what he was doing there, but that's what really upset us the most. We had a chance on that drive to finish it. That was the drive where Mike White had hit Corey Davis on 4th and 10, which was a big play. He got crushed before that play and took a big shot, but was able to get up even though we could tell he was hurting. We should have finished that drive with a touchdown. Give me your thoughts on that and us not being able to capitalize in that moment.
It's on us. It's all on us. We have no one to blame but ourselves for that. It does not mean we need to change the whole offense or anything. It's just accept we had a bad game. We blew it. Look, I'm going to be very honest with you, and this would have been the talk all over the town. The story would have been the Jets would have won. It would have been that the Vikings blew the game. Like, honest to God, the Jets almost didn't deserve to win this game. It was more the Vikings would have blown this game completely. I'm going to be very frank with you. It would have been they would have lost the game. So
no, I hear you. So
I'm going to leave it at that because I don't really have much more to say than that.
Yeah. So my final question before I let you go, Jake, give me your thoughts on this Jets defense. Who's a player that you look at and highlight today and say, hey, this was a guy that really balled out and impressed you today against the Vikings defensively?
DJ Reed. But we're not talking about him enough. We're really not talking about him enough. Dude, this kid is a star. Like, I think without him, our secondary is in trouble. We talk about Sauce all the time. DJ Reed is proving to you this guy. I mean, he did their best against Jefferson. You knew they couldn't stop him all game, but they did. He played a valiant effort. But, guys, I know we don't want to talk about draft yet, but they need linebackers, man. They need linebackers. It's still a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So, and you said Mike White's your guy going forward 100%. Am I correct?
100%. I'm not even debating this.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Listen, Jake, I want to thank you for calling in. I got to slide off. I got some callers. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right.
All right, man. Let's go against Buffalo. Let's get it done. All right.
Nice. Absolutely. Let's go. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Again, be patient. We will get to everybody on the line. Next, I'm going to my guy, Jason. Val, Steve, other callers as well. We'll get to you in a second. I'm coming to Jason first. Salutes to you, Jason. I want to thank you for calling in today. Listen, Jason, Jets take a tough loss, 22-27 to the Vikings. We had it. We're on the 1-yard line. If we get a score, we can go up. What are your thoughts about that situation scenario, how we have that turnover on downs right there? Were you surprised that the New York Jets didn't just line up with the fat guys and just run straight forward or try a QB sneak in that situation?
Well, absolutely. We did it again. We did it the first time, and we got the touchdown. So we throwed it all 4 times. So it just, to me, it just sucked that I don't know. We were just playing offensive coordinator. Just needs to learn that sometimes, even though they might know that you're winning it, you still got to do it just because of our guys are going to be better than them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Now, my next question for you is Mike White. What were your thoughts about his performance today? I mean, had over 300 yards throwing the ball. He did have 2 picks, but, it is what it is. The last interception he was trying to get to Corey Davis was double covered, had a rushing touchdown. What were your thoughts about his moxie and gutsy performance today against the Vikings?
You know what? In the beginning of the game, when I saw that first INT, I didn't blame him for it, but I was scared that this game was going to be into a big trouble. And you know what? If this was last year, Mike White, we would have been like the Bills game, where we would have we would be destroyed, we'd be gone, it would be a blowout. But you know what? Even though we lost, and I would say this here, Mike White was not perfect today. He was not perfect, but you know what? He was good. He was able to still get us in the second half, still able to move the ball down the field, made some plays, and get us into position where we can win it. And that's all you can ask for Mike White.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that throw to Corey Davis on 4th and 10 was phenomenal. That's a top NFL quarterback-like throw. Real talk. Very few quarterbacks in the NFL can make a throw like that into that tight of a window, and he made it happen. Mike White, I thought, was phenomenal today. It's a tough loss, but, man, it really shows that he has what it takes, and it's going to be tough to sit him down. We'll see what they do this upcoming week. We'll see, how they continue to handle the quarterback position. Now, my final question for you, Jason, before I let you go, when you look at this defense, man, what were your thoughts on its play, and what player would you highlight today as a guy that you were thoroughly impressed by?
First thing I say is that we need to, again, our main problem was we couldn't tackle. And so the coaches, again, needs to focus on tackling this week, this next week. But to be honest, Quill Williams, dude, that guy's a beast, man. And the whole Vikings offense has to do quick passes in order for them not to face our D-line. But but it just sucks because this game we were one play away from winning it, even though it was ugly. We might have lost, but you know what? Chin up. We fought for it. They had to fight for this win. So even though we lost, it was a good 5-1 fight.
Yeah.
So
it was.
GG Vikings,
it was a hard fight.
And to next time.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I let you go, Jason, is Mike White your quarterback going forward?
Yes, those two INTs it wasn't his fault. The first was a tip, and the second one was he had to throw something he had to throw it downfield. So, dude, he has showed that he can move this ball with this offense. So unless Zach Wilson can ready, then Mike White's it. He is my QB.
All right, salute. Listen, salute to you, Jason. I got to slide off. You have yourself a good one. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I'm going to area code 678. 678, I'm coming directly to you, Val, Steve, David. Hold on. We'll get to you in a second. Other callers. 678, salutes to you. You look like a new caller. Give me your name, where you're from, and give me your thoughts on this New York Jets loss to the Vikings 22-27. What are your thoughts about Mike White and his performance?
My name is Bill D'Angelo. I live in
salute to you, Bill.
Canton, Georgia, and I spoke to you one time a few years ago when you were part of the crowd with that whole bunch of guys, and they were all very nasty, a matter of fact, at the time. But you were very kind to me. And I remember I talked to even I remember how cool you were. I always thought, because everyone else, and it sounded like because of that style, you said, I really don't want to go with this. Let's not have this. That's a style that some people like on either the fan and stuff, and I don't do that. But I'm going to surprise you on my opinion. It goes against the grain, probably your own opinion. I think I am totally against Mike White as the quarterback of the future. I don't believe it.
Really? Okay.
Why? And I'll tell you the reason why. He cannot throw when you look at college scouting for quarterbacks, there is one throw that they have to show they can do in order to play in the NFL as a starter. As a backup, that's another question. And that is they have to throw out patterns, short and long. He cannot execute an out pattern because he doesn't have the arm strength. And if you look at even the interception that you're giving him a pass on, the reason why, and there was another ball that was almost intercepted, and what happened in this game that the Bears couldn't do is because all his completions are basically in that box between the numbers ahead of the defense because he can't execute. Look at all the throws he threw wide. They were all off big, lofty numbers. In order to throw an out pattern, you have to have a cannon to get it past the defensive back. Otherwise, it's picked off. In other words, you're going against you understand? He cannot throw that. And he throws everything in the middle. And the interception was his fault because the ball arrived, because his arm is weak, the ball arrived a half a second slow. Therefore, it was behind the receiver. And guess what Minnesota did on every play? They had 3 or 4 guys stacked in the middle of that field because he knew he was going to go there because they know he can't throw and he can't throw long. So when you eliminate that, against better defenses. His game will not transfer to the kind of defense. Yeah. Anyway, so go ahead.
And I hear you there, Bill. I'm going to cut you. Yeah. No, listen, I hear you, and I want to have this dialogue with you back and forth. Again, we got a lot of callers, but I really want to go back and forth with you about this. I hear what you're saying, and we have all talked about Mike White and him getting the football down the field. I will say I don't think he has as bad of an arm as you're saying. I tell you what, he hit Garrett Wilson for a 54-yard bomb against the Bears, and that was really deep down the field. I will say this: there were some throws there. Yeah, he missed here and there, but we saw the moxie. He made a big throw on 4th and 10 to Corey Davis today. That was phenomenal. Hold on a second. He made a throw today to Bill. He made a throw today to Corey Davis that was huge. I'm talking huge. Got the football down the field with speed to him. So I do think that Mike White has the ability, right? I do think he has the ability to hit guys and go forward. But he made plays today. He was gutsy today. He handled business. Even with our run game, he was dead.
Tim Tebow was gutsy. Okay, so is other quarterbacks. He cannot throw outside the numbers, which means over the long haul, as a regular, he will be eaten up by any good defenses. If he played that way against who Zach Wilson faced in his 7 games when he was 5-2, we would have lost. He will get killed in Buffalo if he plays like that. So they'll stack the box, and you'll watch interceptions all over the place because he's not going to be able to get the ball on time. Zach has some concerns, but Zach has the physical talent. As for being on the goal line, if Zach Wilson was there, we would have went in because he could have ran for it. This guy can't get off his spot. That's another problem. He can't move at all.
Okay.
So I don't think so. I've been trying to tell people that because the one thing, Zach's problems can be corrected. You cannot correct someone that can't throw an out pattern. And if you look at that weakness in the arm strength, you'll understand it objectively.
Here's the issue, though. Here's the thing. No, and I understand the weakness in the arm strength, Bill, and I hear you. But when you say that Zach's problems can be corrected, if they're being corrected, you've been here for a year and some change. We're talking about an offense that asks you to quickly decipher what's going on out there, and Mike White is doing it. And I'm a Zach guy. But if Zach is when is he going to correct these issues? Because Zach
Mike White has been
the arm strength, right? We talk about the arm strength with Zach Wilson, and that's phenomenal. The arm strength is there. He has the talent. The biggest problem is between the ears for Zach Wilson. He killed us against Denver. We still won that game in spite of him. He killed us against the Patriots twice. He's the one out there playing hero ball and doing all this other stuff. And again, I understand that Zach Wilson is the second pick, in the first round, and he's phenomenal. We have a lot invested in him, and he's got the physical talent. But if he's killing us offensively and he's putting us in situations where we're getting blown out because he's taking wild chances with the ball, and you watch Mike White go out there, and again, we lost today, but we lost 22-27. He kept us in the football game. He made plays when it was out there. He rushed for a touchdown to keep us in the game as well, was finishing drives. Right? How can you walk away from that? That's my biggest question. I'll give you the last word before I let you go.
Listen, he does not have the arm strength to play the whole field. That means when he plays tougher Vikings have a lousy defense. It ain't great. And watch when he places better defense. First of all, let's talk about Zach. Zach lost 2 games by 5 points to the Patriots the first game, and then in this game, the last game, when it was windy and cold, he was 3-3. Had we managed to get off a punt correctly, we might have won the game. Then he would have been 6-1. That's the record. Watch. Mike White, by the end of next week, will be 1-2. 1-2.
Okay.
And he will therefore have a worse percentage. He will not be able to execute the way his limitations are. No movement, no running, and can't execute beyond a certain level on deep passes, and he can't throw out patterns. Guess what? He'll end up where we'll lose a bunch of games against the tougher defense. You take that against Belichick or the Bills or the other teams we're going to face, you will have problems because he can't execute. If we were on the goal line, Zach would have gotten us in. Okay? Zach, I've seen him. That's the difference.
Yeah, listen, Bill, I hear you. I got to slide off, Bill, because I got other callers. I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right, my friend? We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. I know the lines are hot. We're going to get to everybody. Val, you're coming up next. Val, I'm coming directly to you. Salutes to you, Val. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, we got takes flying back and forth. Again, salutes to Bill. I want to thank him for calling in. Hopefully we'll hear from him on the next show. Give me your thoughts about Mike White, man. What were your thoughts about his performance today and what he was able to do out there on the field?
Man, I mean, I definitely liked it, his the way how he was poised in the pocket and stuff, and he was passing the ball. He was definitely doing a good job. Then on top of that, the windows that he was passing, like he was really doing a great job on that. Like he showed his ability of his accuracy of the ball as well too, and he couldn't. And he made the easy passes as well too. It was a little shaky in the beginning, like a lot of people was dropping the passes as well, and there was a lot of passes that could have been made, but everybody started to warm up towards like the middle to the end and stuff. But he definitely did a good job. As the pressure was, he went to a away game against the Vikings. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought today that Mike White, I mean, the effort we saw out there, him fighting through all these issues, him getting smacked and getting back up. Again, I understand other people, and I want to hear all kinds of different sides of this argument. People saying that there was a lot of people saying that today, if we would have had Zach Wilson, they felt like we would have won this football game. Do you agree with that?
No.
Why?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not, because he would have never made the easy passes. The accuracy would have been way off than what it was today. Then on top of that, I will give Zach Wilson this. He would have probably ran the ball. That's the only thing about Mike White that kind of killed me today, because I felt like Mike White, they was playing heavy coverage. So all you had to do as a quarterback was run the ball and take the coverage off, so they would have to fire on the quarterback. That's all he had to do. When he did that little drive to the right side, he could have ran to the first down and get closer to the touchdown. But to answer your question, definitely not. Zach Wilson would definitely struggled in this game for sure, especially with the accuracy issues. He showed that many times, a lot of times. And the running game was a big too, to back up the quarterback. This was a quarterback game. You had to be a legit quarterback, and you had to have accuracy in this game. And that's what Mike White showed you today, especially in this tough game.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. Like you said as well, there was a lot of, like you said, you had to be accurate. There was a lot of tight windows. The thing that surprised me the most as well was the New York Jets' lack of a running game. Until Knight ran for that 48-yard scamper, there wasn't a lot coming from the Jets as far as rushing. Were you shocked that we kind of struggled to run the ball against Minnesota so early?
Yeah, and that's our strength is running the game, and we just couldn't get to it. They had our numbers when it came to running. I guess they seen our scheme of that we like to run the ball, and we had a few running games that had a little bit of bright spots, but you could tell we missed Mike White. But I can't lie, Knight stepped up a little bit in this game, and he definitely did some good things. But I wish he would have just gotten into that end zone that one time. We was really close, but we should have definitely be sneaking. And I need Mike White to be a little bit more aggressive of stretching the ball as well too when he's doing that fakes, because he needs to be a little bit more aggressive with that. He's tall, he's lanky, and he can actually get there. But we definitely could have did a lot better. But go ahead.
No, yes. Listen, I want to hear your take there. Now, another thing that I thought as well, if you look at this football game, I felt like Mike LaFleur was calling a game that was really, really conservative early. I felt like we didn't do enough to attack the Vikings defense early. What were your thoughts about his play calling, particularly when we got down to the 1-yard line? Why do you think we got so cute with the football? Why not just do a QB sneak or run it straight in? Why do you think all these weird pass plays were called down there? What are your thoughts on that?
That's my problem as well too, man. We have to stay aggressive. This is getting towards the end of the season. We're in the mid getting towards the end. We have to start being aggressive. If we want to win these games, you have to be aggressive with these teams, especially next week. It's going to be another game that we have to be aggressive in. Like we did against the Bills the first time, we have to do exactly that. We have to be aggressive, and we have to just make the easiest ways is just to do the QB sneaks. You've seen it against the Patriots. They do that too. They don't care. As long as they get that first down, they get that yard, you could go for another down. We have to stay aggressive and do better plays. And I feel like LaFleur kind of dropped the ball a little bit, but he started picking it up towards the end. But I just feel like, he has to stop being a little too cute in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a little wild. Now, when you look at the New York Jets defense today, they played well. Again, there was a lot of bad calls, right? There was a lot of suspect calls by the refs, especially early. Cousins was 21 of 35 for the day, had 173 yards and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook ran for 86 yards. He had a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. When you look at what the New York Jets were able to do, what was your, analysis on how they handled the game today? I mean, Quentin Williams made some big stops. He had a big sack as well. We saw Carl Lawson step up and have a big sack too. I mean, what were your thoughts about the Jets' defensive performance today?
Man, real quick, man, that first quarter, I feel like we were just going against the referees in that first quarter, man, and on defense, man. But they held up, man. They were still staying strong and still being in the game. But, man, this defense is incredible, man. Like, we went against the arguably the number one offense, and we basically stopped them. All we had to do was just, score a little bit more touchdowns and stuff like that. But we got to give really credit to this defense of really stepping up when we need them the most. And they definitely did. Like, they did break a couple of coverage, but that was towards the end. If we would have scored more touchdowns and stuff, we would have definitely won this game hands down. But I feel like this defense, between the sacks, between the coverage, between like the cornerbacks, I did want Sauce to really get on Jefferson a little bit more, but Reed did a good job, man. For him to get on Jefferson and stuff, like he definitely did his thing, and he did as much as he could. But yeah, Quentin Williams, man, he's definitely securing that bag because he's definitely showing he's that all pro, and I definitely love Quentin Williams. For sure. Yeah. And I'm just happy. Happy that the Jets have a pass rushing game. That's the best thing that I'm loving about the season so far. We're getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, you absolutely did. And listen, so before I let you go, Val, because we got callers, we're going to get to everybody again, 515-602-9639. Is Mike White your quarterback going forward? Do you want to see Mike White continue to be the starter for the New York Jets in this next upcoming game?
And who else are we going to replace him with? Of course, Mike White.
Come on.
Definitely Mike White. He got my vote, man.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
I just need White to scramble a little bit more. The defensive, I just need him to scramble a little bit more and do what he does, and he's doing a good job. And just keep getting those easy passes and keep getting those yards. But other than that, man, Joe, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Everybody hitting like and subscribe.
Absolutely. Salute. Thank you again, Val, for calling in. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Okay, again, when you call in, please be patient. We'll get to everybody. Understand that this is a conversation as well. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear your side. I want you to hear my side. So make sure that your phone is good and ready to go. And please, let's have this conversation. I want to scream over people. I want to be able to hear you. Salutes to all the callers. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, David. Salutes, David. I want to thank you for calling in today. Listen, David, here's my thoughts, on this game. I thought the New York Jets could have took this 22-27, all right, 22-27. The Jets had it. We were on the 1-yard line at one point, couldn't get it in. I thought Mike LaFleur got too cute with the play calling. What were your thoughts about that situation?
Oh, first, can I just express the pain, Joe? I'm feeling some emotional pain. I mean, wow, that was tough, because last year, if that game is played, we lose it 40-3. We never come back. So I think we got to look at the bright side and say, okay, we've definitely made so much improvement as a team in so many areas. But I agree with your point. We got too cute. I think if we run it on that third down instead of that corner route, because you could tell that he didn't even look. It was automatic. He's throwing to the corner, and he couldn't get free, and they didn't call the flag. So that ate a down. So but then we recover and we get. I believe he runs it in. Correct. So then we're forced
we ran it in.
So that was beautiful he showed so much character, so much commitment to win. I feel good, as bad as I'm feeling, Joe and listeners. I'm feeling good about my team. I'm proud of my team, and I'm not afraid of the Bills, and I'm not afraid of the Dolphins. I'm not afraid. This game, I think, even though it was a loss, it's the kind of loss that everyone on that team, I believe, is walking away saying, you know what, as bad as this hurts, I feel good about this team. I feel good about our direction. I feel good about the overall state of where we're going as a professional organization. Now, yes, the quarterback was, somewhat off, but we left some balls on the field with they were tough catches. They were jumping in the air, but their hands were on the ball and they couldn't bring it in there. Those were critical ones because if they get just a few of those, that gets us a TD instead of a 3-pointer. So
I'll tell you
that
what.
tells me
there was one.
Joe,
there was one long. I'm sorry. There was one long ball to to Garrett Wilson that was just short of him. If he catches that in stride, that's a touchdown for the Jets.
Oh yeah,
that
right there.
Oh man, but go ahead. I don't want to stop you, David. Go ahead.
No. That's a fair observation. But there's so much on the plate. But I think I would suggest to the listeners that be fair to your team. We've made such improvements. Be fair to Mike White. He is a backup, but he has given us his best. Zach could not have done that today. Maybe in the future, if they develop him right, he has more physical talent than Michael White, but he doesn't have the maturity yet and that inner confidence of believing in himself. I was listening to some of the analysis yesterday that if you look into his past, he played for a mid-level school, but he did really well at Western Kentucky. He was always winning and threw for a lot of yards, and I think Mike sees himself as that. And Zach has to make that crossover. I only mention that, Joe, because I don't know what pain was more, the loss today or your second to last caller that tried to defend Zach and was just irrational. That was a painful conversation. And I support all who call because it's not easy. We all have different opinions and we're all venting.
Yeah.
But, gosh, his logic was so off and his observations were so tainted. I mean, when we watch Michael, he gives us a chance. He gave us a chance today, guys.
Yeah.
And we got to forgive him. We got to feel this pain, and we can beat the Bills. I was watching the Red Zone a little bit, and Josh Allen's watching the Red Zone all day. I'll tell you what, he was watching the Jets, and I'm telling you that the Bills are worried about the Jets. They're not coming into playing us next week thinking we got this. They're thinking we're going to have to play our best game to beat the Jets.
Yeah, and listen, I respect everybody, and I take all callers, no matter where you're calling in from, no matter whatever your point is, right? Whatever your take is, even if I disagree with it, I want to go back and forth and have that conversation. So that's what I do.
You were
here
very
on the
fair.
platform.
Very fair. You were. And again, I can see how people can be into Zach. He's the kind of guy you can get into him. And you want him to win. And I think you got to be fair to everybody. But I'm proud of my team today, Joe. I'm feeling bad, like I want to eat a whole pizza. And I'm a little heavy, so I can't do it. But I don't drink no more. I gave all that stuff up. But I want to eat a pizza pie and I can't eat my pain. I got to go through the pain. Keep my chin up.
You know what I think hurt us as well today, David? I know you're talking about Mike White, but I thought the lack of the running game for the New York Jets, outside of that 48-yard run by Knight, right, which was big for us, outside of that, the Jets' running game was struggling most of the game. What are your thoughts about that? Why do you think we struggled so much
thanks
against
for
this
bringing
Vikings
me back.
front?
No, that's a fair observation. Bring me back to thinking instead of feeling, because I'm feeling I can't think straight. But where was the running game? It was almost like they were using it as a decoy, like thinking, okay, we're the Jets and we're going to run, but then they were throwing too much. I was on another show. You might know him. I try to spread it out. I was on like a green bean show, and I typed in on them. I said we're throwing too much. I kind of spread it out. It's on 4 different shows. I said, I got to get to Joe today, too. So I try to mix it up and give all the YouTubers some time. You know what I'm saying? While I got the game on the TV. So I try to spread the love out. But, it was non-existent. And then I'm saying, okay, they're going back to it. They got a little more stable. They started to mix it up. And then, you know, those field goals started adding up, and the confidence started coming. They had a big stop. They got a couple really big stops at the end that kept the game reasonable. They kept it 20-3. If they score a TD there, I think we're cooked. But they kept it in, and then they got that field goal. He kicked, 60 yards? That thing was like an underdog energy pill, man. I'm a cartoon guy. I love underdog. And you pop that pill, and he's going out, and he's like, get out of underdog's way. He's got the pill in him. Nobody's got no shot. And I think that gave him a pep, 20-6. Yeah. And then we started field goaling them. And we were so close. And I think if we were close. Oh, man, I'm going to ramble, Joe.
Rough.
I had to check in, though.
Yeah, it's rough.
And, yes, I'll answer your question. Well, go ahead.
My final question.
Go ahead and ask.
Hold on. Before I let you go and give you that last one before I let you out of here, when you look at this defense and you talked about the performance, what one defensive player would you highlight today as the guy that you thought was really an impact difference maker in your mind today?
Oh, it was Williams, Quentin Williams. Okay. Because he was busting up the middle. He disturbed them. Now, the corners checked in. Reed got beat a few times. But they all stepped it up. But I believe it was the passing, the threat of the sack, because they started getting to him really good. They shut him down. They got that one TD. Okay, they snuck one in on us. But we basically held them in check in the second half. So that's what I would say. I'd say Quentin Williams. And I would say, and you already can tell because you've listened to me a few times, Mike White's our guy. We can't go back to Joe. That would be an emergency. And maybe next year we have other options, but we got to believe in Mike. We got to give him our love. We got to give him our thoughts. And we got, and stick with him. And we need, like I said last week to you, Joe, we need stability as an organization. We're getting there. We are a legit team. We're right in the fray. Hey, we're in 8th. If the playoffs were today, we're in. We're in 8th. I believe we're in 8th place. So, feel good, Jet fans. Thank you, Joe. Good job. I'll check in next time.
Salute. All right. Thank you so much. You have a good one, David. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Salutes to Bill. Bill says, bye, Joe. You can't take an opposing view, and you're not seeing reality on Mike White, who cannot throw an out pattern. If he's the starter against the Bills, he will kill us. Mike White is an okay backup with limitations. Salutes to you, Bill. All right, listen. On my show, all right, I listen to various opposing views. No matter who you are, I want to hear from you no matter where you're from. The thing is, we're not going to have a streaming match. You can't stream over me. I'm not having that. This is my platform, and I have to keep that there, okay? So when we have a discussion, we need to do just that. We need to have a discussion. Now, the thing is with Mike White is that everybody knows I'm a big Zach guy, but I also see reality. I'm a realist. So when I see Zach Wilson, yes, he has the physical gifts. He has an arm out of this world, right? He's athletic. He can run outside the pocket. He can do all those things. But he also has a propensity to turn the football over a lot, all right? And then when you double down outside of just doing what you're doing on the field, you double down and tell people in the media that you're going to keep playing like that, like he did after the New England game, saying, I don't want to play boring football, doing things like that. Yeah, you deserve to be on the bench. We also watched him go out there as well and airmail screen passes. He was throwing balls in the dirt. He was throwing balls over guys' heads. He couldn't complete the simple, wide-open stuff. Elijah Moore coming across his face on a drag. He missed him. Tyler Conklin, he's throwing so far behind him that Devin McCourty had such an easy interception, he dropped it. He was shocked that the ball was going to hit him in the face mask. So when you look at those things and you evaluate a quarterback, physical gift is not the only thing that you have to look at. Not at all. Because let me tell you something, there are other quarterbacks as well that have not been physically gifted but have done just enough to lead teams to a Super Bowl, like Trent Dilfer. Not physically gifted, Super Bowl winner. Why? He did just enough. He made throws that were out there, he completed the passes, and he made it happen. Especially when you look at this offensive scheme, it doesn't ask your quarterback to be that physically gifted. It doesn't. All you have to do is hit the guys in open space. That's what you have to do in this offense. And that's why we've seen Mike White have such a great command of this offense, because that's what he does. And I'm sorry. I love Zach Wilson. Everybody knows that. I've been bashed for being that guy. But there comes a time where you have to look at the production and say, listen, Mike White is putting on. And today, if you watch this game, Mike White played extremely well, and he made a lot of great throws. I understand you may feel like his physical limitations are going to kill the Jets, but today I watched him throw a bomb to Corey Davis on 4th and 10 and hit him between a tight window between two Vikings defenders to keep the Jets' drive alive. I watched him be within 5 points of beating the Vikings. I watched him take a team down the field and put together a drive where he was on the 1-yard line and could have scored a touchdown and take the game away. So, again, I love having these conversations going back and forth, but also time is a, condition I have to for as well, because I do have other callers. But, when you call in, let's have this discussion, but it has to be a discussion. You can't yell over me, because I'm not going to have that. And I also want to hear your take, okay? But, again, we got to move around. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're keeping it real here. I keep it real on my platform. Next, I'm going to my guy, Steve. I'm coming directly to you. Other callers, please hold on. We'll get to you in a second. Steve salutes. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, Steve, you're calling in after a tough loss to the Vikings, 22-27. Give me your thoughts on this loss. Give me your thoughts on the performance of Mike White. How'd you feel like what you saw out there out of him today?
Hey, Joe. Thank you again for having me on your show. It's just –
absolutely.
I got to tell you something. Mike White played his heart out in that whole entire game. From the beginning to the end of the game, he was doing whatever it took for us to win this game. Joe, let me just tell you something. Even though this loss broke my heart so much, because we had a chance to beat a really, really good team in a tough environmental stadium in Minnesota. You know something, Joe? This team today played their hearts out from the beginning to the game to the end of the game. The team never gave up. The team never quit. This was just an unbelievable effort by this team today. But let me just say this right now. Those passes that he threw, that 4th and 10 you were talking about, the Corey Davis and then that other thing, I was getting so hyped and going crazy when he completed those passes. Those were unbelievable passes. Those are the kind of passes you see that Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and even Josh Allen makes. He made those kind of passes. Really hurt us today, Joe, was our red zone offense. The red zone offense hurt us. The first time when we were there before we had a chance to maybe get a touchdown, on those second and goals, when Bam Knight brought us to the 1-yard line, when it was just a little bit past the 2-minute warning, when the Vikings started calling their timeouts. My question was, why couldn't Mike White quarterback sneak it into the end zone for a touchdown? That worked the first time when we played. And I'm just going to say another thing also, too, Joe, before I let you get a chance to talk. The referee was garbage in this game. Even at one point, one of the Bills players on Twitter actually defended Jordan Whitehead on that hit, on that clean hit, where he clearly hit Justin Jefferson in the shoulder. Jordan Whitehead, Jordan Poyer on the Bills even said, wow, the NFL is just not that fun anymore. I thought that was a nonsense call. I don't understand why that was called unnecessary roughness. I don't get it. But they were making those calls, and there was a lot of questionable calls today by the referees. I don't get it. Now, again, I understand some of the holding calls on Jefferson. I think there was one against Reed where I agreed with. But the other ones is just like, man, come on. Especially, again, that bad spot by Hockenson, I thought was egregious. They gave him a first down. I didn't think that was necessary, but and
it was
Saleh
crazy.
had to challenge it. And let me just tell you something. Saleh was not happy.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't on the day, and it was just mind-blowing. Now, for me as well, I was a little bit shocked that the New York Jets running game was not really effective outside of that big run by Knight. What were your thoughts about us struggling to run the football early?
you know, unfortunately, running the football today was a big issue. The only big rush that we had today was Bam Knight's 48-yard run. I got to one thing, Joe, I got to also say really quickly, Zonovan Knight has really, really, really stepped up for us. I thought he played great today. He was, but the best offensive player was Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson today had his best game as a New York Jet. He was absolutely tremendous today. But, you know, the thing was, Joe, the running game, unfortunately, we just couldn't get anything done. And Coach, and let me tell you something, Joe, I didn't get a chance to listen to Coach Sala after the game yet. I will a little later tonight. But there was at one point I heard where he got really emotional and said that this team fought so hard. Like, when I heard about that he almost started to cry, I'm going to tell you something, Joe, that's my coach right there. That is my coach. Yeah. Because he's finally showing some emotion, like, after a game. I mean, I could tell by hearing him, but I think Brian Costello said that he is so devastated after this game. This is such a tough game to lose. It's just Joe. But let me tell you, this team played with their hearts out. Like I said, I'm upset. Yes, am I upset that we lost? Absolutely. But let me tell you something. The one thing I am so proud about this team is that they did not quit today. They absolutely fought. And let me tell you something. Hands off to Justin Jefferson on being, in my opinion, one of the best receivers in the game, because he made some tough catches against us today, where where the Jordan Whitehead hit. Let me tell you, Justin Jefferson is one tough cookie.
Yeah, he is. I mean, man, he was one tough customer today. I mean, it seemed like they was going, throwing the ball to him constantly, and even Rigger was making plays left and right as well, too. It was really rough. But like you said, our wide receiving core handled business today as well. Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 162 yards on the day. Really liked what he brought to the table as well for us. Very explosive. Now, before I let you go, Steve, when you look at our defense, man, who was the guy that you would highlight today as a really big impact playmaker? Who's the guy that you look at and you say, man, this guy really impressed me today?
Quinnen Williams had a great game today. Quan Alexander made a big play on the third. I mean, I would pick Quinnen Williams. And even Quincy Williams had some big hits. Oh, I don't know if you heard about this. Quinnen Williams left the game at one point today with a dislocated shoulder. And what happened was he got his shoulder popped right back in and went right back in the game. Quinnen Williams.
Oh, wow, okay.
He literally got his shoulder. They said it was a dislocated shoulder, and guess what? And guess what? But he came right back into the game and fought so hard. Listen, Joe, we just now got to get ready for another tough game next Sunday. We got to go to another tough, hostile environment. We got to play our arch rivals, the Bills. We got to get ready for Buffalo next week. Listen, Joe, don't be too disappointed about the team. I mean, I'm not disappointed at all. It's upsetting that we lost, but let's just try to keep our heads up after this game.
Yeah, we will. Listen, Steve, I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one. I got to slide off, man.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, Steve calling in with some takes, man. Whew, what a show. It was a tough loss today against the Vikings. Again, 22-27, we took a loss. But this football team played hard. And Mike White, I'm sorry, I love Zach Wilson, but Mike White played very well in this game as well. Again, 369 yards. Ran for a touchdown. He had 2 interceptions. But this team fought hard. We just got too damn cute in the red zone. We just got too damn cute in the red zone, man. Jeez Louise, we got too cute. But, we'll see what happens going forward. Again, the Jets were in the game 22-27. We fought to the wire, man. Fought straight to the wire. So, whoo. Going to go ahead and shut down this show, man. This was a phenomenal show to have. Talking to everybody again. We respect all takes here. When you call in, please make sure your background's good and make sure we can have that discussion. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. All right? Your boy's also on Twitter as well, at YoungJ000. At YoungJ000. All right, follow me. I'll follow you right back. If you want to troll me, no issues. You can go follow the show's page as well, at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe. All right? You want to troll me again, I'll troll you right back. All right? As a matter of fact, I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times, man. It's tough. He's gone down with an injury, but he'll be back. All right? And when he is back, we'll be back dominating. Okay? Such a tough loss, man. It sucks. You can also catch me as well on YouTube. Come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right? Hit that subscription button. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. If you want to troll me, go ahead and hit those comments, troll me, and we can go back and forth. All right? And as always, people, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. All right? I want to thank everyone for calling in, taking the time out of your day to listen, to watch as well live on YouTube. Salutes to all the savages. All right? Without you folks, I am absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to do all of those things and, you know, call in to have a good discussion with your boy. I'm going to get on out of here. You folks have a good one. Peace.